Battles of ETFs, VOO, VTI. Which fund should you invest your money? So it's 2022. The market has been more volatile right now, and you have your money and you are wondering which fund out of these funds from one of the best ETF provider, which is Vanguard, should you invest your money? Right? This is a question that I get all the time from people asking these questions. Which fund should you invest in? VOO, should you invest in VTI or VT? So this series of comparing funds, I call it ETF battle. I've done few of these videos and they seem to be more popular. One of the most popular videos in my channel. So anyways, today we're going through on a brief talking about Vanguard VOO versus VTI. So let's start. So we're going to fund overview. Right here we can see, so asset class, they're all stocks, and category, they're all large blends. Risk potential is 4 out of 5. Expense ratio is 3.3. They're equal over there. Price, of course, VOO has more price, is 369, and VTI is 201. So VTI price wise is a little bit cheaper in terms of money. We look at the bid ask spread, we can see VTI is very tight. It's because it has more liquid, versus VTI has almost $1 or 50 cents almost difference there. So it's more, more spread, versus VOO is pretty much the same bid ask spread. So you're asking for 375 and someone wants to buy for the same amount of money, or so it's a pretty tight over there. When you come to NAV, net asset value of their respective fund, it's a pretty equal to the price, which is what you want to see, which is 201 versus 201, 369. That's pretty cool. So that's about it. So the main thing on this fund overview is the price expense ratio, what you pay on the fund. So we see they're both pretty much equal. So that's pretty good. So none is expensive. On that field, they're all equal. When you come to average annual performance, right, we look at year to date where the market has crashed. So we look at the VOO or Vanguard S&P 500 ETF is minus 23. Vanguard total stock market, which is VTI, is about 24 at 80. So they're pretty close. And we look at 1 year performance is minus 15, minus 17. When we come to 3 years is 8 is pretty 816, 761. Let's go to 10-year period. We look at 11%, and this is 1134%. So they're pretty close when it comes to 10-year performance. When we go to inception, since the fund was incepted, or when the fund was created, which the VOO, of course, was created in September 7, 2010, and this VTI was incepted in May 24, 2001. So if we look at the performance since inception of each fund, we'll look here is 12%, and this is 7%. But here's the thing, we can go with this inception is because the inception date, they are not equal. I mean, this one has been on the market for too long, and it has seen pretty much two crash, or 201 and also 208, and the crash we're in coronavirus. So it's pretty much, that's why it's lagging behind a little bit, versus this one was only like 12 years ago. So that we can compare, but we can go 10-year period. We look at, they're pretty much the same in 10-year period. Yield, when you come to yield, how much you get on dividend every quarter, we look at the yield is about 163 for VOO, and we look at 1.55 for VTI. So when you come to dividend, they're pretty much close. So we'll just make that as a draw. When we come to average annual return after taxes and distribution, well, let's look at the 10-year period. We'll look at the 12%, and this one you get about 6%. Since inception, actually, let's go for 10-year period. It's 11%, and this is 10 85. So when it comes to performance overall after tax and everything, of course, VOO beats VTI in a little bit. You know, even performance is just a little bit. It's better. VOO has beat a little bit. Fee and minimums, of course, none because these are not pretty much mutual fund. We've seen their fee. The only fee you would pay is this expense ratio or management expense ratio, which is 0.03. We come to 10 largest holdings. These are the most important things you want to look at. What each fund holds in their respective, in their respective investing goals. And we can see they both have pretty much equal. We can go one by one, but you can just see, as you can see, Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway. They're different here. United Health Group is here too. Berkshire Hathaway, ExxonMobil, Johnson & Johnson, JP Morgan Chase. They're pretty much the same. And out of the top 10 holdings, we can see it's a 27% of funds on VOO or Vanguard S&P 500, and VTI, Vanguard Total US stock market, is about 23%. So this one has more weight on the 10 than its VTI, but they are pretty much close to each other. Let's go to equity characteristics. This is more of a technical. You don't want to go too much into this. Number of stocks, of course, is 500 because it's called Vanguard S&P 500. Of course, it's 500. We'll look at Vanguard Total Stock Market. It has a 4,028 because this is a US total stock market versus this is only one of the top big US companies which VO invest in. This one has a blend of mid and small and large companies. Let's go to equity sector diversification. You want to look at the sectors, which sector they invest in. So we can see as of 31st October 31st 2022, they both have basic material, communication sector. They are pretty much percentage, they're almost identical. Consumer cyclical, consumer defense, energy, financial services, healthcare, industrial, real estate, technology, utility. They're all pretty much equally distributed on their perspective industries that they invest in. Fund characteristics, we look at this one has about 7.48 billion, and this VTI has about 2 billion at the moment. I think 286 when I did my research. So that's it. So which fund should you invest in? As we've seen the performance when it comes to fund manager, they all managed by Vanguard, of course, has better reputation, as we all know. And we look at performance. We look at the sector they invest in. We look at the top 10 companies. We look at their performance of 10 years. They're all pretty much the same. So I would say here is a draw. Which fund should you invest in? Of course, S&P 500 will be more volatile because it has only 500 companies versus VTI has more 4,000 companies. When it comes to return, they're all going to return the same. They're all managed by one company. They're all one of the good funds to invest in your money. So what I can say, you can't go wrong with either. Put your money in, keep adding your money, and let's be rich together. Thank you very much for listening and watching this video. If it's your first time, please subscribe, like, and leave your comment. Which fund do you like to invest in? Thank you. Bye-bye.